a pleasure to have you join us on another episode of the program. I'm Okpayemi Owosheni. We start off with business news. The Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, has announced yet another increase in the benchmark interest by 200 basis points to 24.75%. CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso announced a new rate following the second MPC meeting of his tenure in Abuja, marking the second rate hike by the current committee. Cardoso also disclosed that the cash reserve ratio, CRR, for deposit money banks remains unchanged at 45%, having been adjusted to 14%. Additionally, the liquidity ratio has been retained at 30%. Now, explaining the rationale behind these decisions, Cardoso said the committee is focused on addressing inflationary pressures and ensuring exchange rate stability in the country. Take a listen.
The considerations of the committee at this meeting focused on the current inflationary pressures and the need to anchor inflation expectations as well as ensure sustained exchange rate stability. These considerations underscore the importance of the CBN's commitment to the price stability mandate and the need to urgently bring inflation under control to ensure that purchasing power of ordinary Nigerians is restored in the short to medium term. Members noted the continued rise in headline inflation, driven largely by food prices because of supply shortages and high costs of logistics and distribution. The committee, therefore, was of the view that addressing food insecurity is key to containing current inflationary pressures. On this note, members commended the ongoing efforts of the federal government towards addressing food insecurity. Some of these measures include the provision of various palliatives, release of grains from the strategic reserves, distribution of seeds and fertilizers, as well as farm implements for dry season farming.
As the Naira gradually appreciates against the dollar after months of unprecedented depreciation, the Central Bank of Nigeria has announced the sale of $10,000 to each of the eligible Bureau de Change operators in the country at the rate of 1,251 Naira per dollar. In a circular to the President of the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, the Apex Bank said the BDCs are to sell to eligible and end users at a spread of no more than 1.5% above the purchase price. The circular was signed by the bank's Director of Trade and Exchange Department, Azan Mahmood. The CBN warns that any BDC that breaches the terms shall be sanctioned appropriately, including outright suspension from further participation in the sale. We'll go on a break now and return with the latest news in the corporate world. Welcome back. MTN has signaled a potential departure from Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry and Liberia as they highlighted numerous challenges in the West and Central African region. CEO Ralph Mopita cited inflation and currency devaluation as notable issues across several markets in Guinea-Bissau and Guinea-Conakry. MTN owns a significant portion of the market share, approximately 30%. The decision to exit these markets will allow MTN to focus on stronger markets like Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire in the West and Central African region. These markets collectively contribute 18.6% to the group's revenue compared to the 7.3% contribution from other West and Central African countries. Total Energies and Marketing PLC has released its full year 2023 financial result, posting a profit after tax of 12.912 billion amidst economic headwind. This was contained in the financial statement released to the Nigerian Exchange Limited (NGX). The group's profit after tax dropped by 19.89% to 12.912 billion from 16.118 billion reported in 2022. Total Energies also posted a pre-tax profit of 17.580 billion, representing a 28.34% decrease from the 24.532 billion posted in year 2022. Now, this is on the back of increasing inflation, which the economy continues to struggle with. We'll go on a break now, but when Money Matter returns, we'll be discussing federal government filing tax evasion charges against Binance. Don't go away. Welcome back. The Nigerian government has taken legal action against cryptocurrency exchange platform Binance. The government has now formally filed charges against the crypto exchange platform at the Federal High Court in Abuja. This was disclosed by the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS). The federal government says it remains steadfast in its commitment to ensuring compliance with tax regulations and combating financial impropriety within the cryptocurrency sector. Meanwhile, one of the Binance executives detained by authorities in Nigeria has fled custody and left the country. The Office of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, confirmed the developments, saying the government has filed a complaint before Interpol to help track him down. Binance previously pleaded guilty to violating anti-money laundering laws in the United States in late 2023, reaching a plea bargain agreement that resulted in the company paying a hefty sum of $4.3 billion. Well, joining me to discuss this further is financial market analyst Michael Damilare. Thank you for joining me on the program, Michael. Now, Binance has been accused of aiding customers in evading taxes through its platform. What are your thoughts on the legal action taken against Binance by the federal government?
Okay, thank you for this question, and thank you for having me here. The first thing is that Binance have been operating in Nigeria for several years, and no tax have been paid to the country and to the government as it is, and so I'm not seeing anything wrong with what the government is doing, holding Binance down for the tax invasion, and also government needs to identify the types of customers that Binance have, because we have people that are stocking their assets in Binance. For an example, some people just decide to buy maybe like Doge, buy tone or any commodity and just stock it there. We call them customers? No. But you need to be able to identify like P2P merchants. These are people that I think the government can say they want to tax. You know, that's not all customers they can tax on the exchange, but everything done on Binance. Binance charges on every single thing. So if Binance is charging for every single thing, so I don't see anything wrong in what Nigeria government is doing, because these have been going on for over 6 years, and the Nigerian government needs to get the tax payment done. You know, so there's nothing wrong in it, and the only thing I'm just a little bit concerned is how they got arrested, but it's not really something that I think it's a big deal too. But I believe they're going to work things out. But what the government did, they really it's a very good thing, because the tax needs to be paid. They are paying tax in America, they're paying tax in UAE, and the funnest part of it is that they have companies licensed in the UAE, but UAE, they don't have the market that more than Nigeria. More than Lagos. They don't even have the market more than Lagos, not to talk about a whole country, Nigeria. So paying tax to this beautiful country should be something that Binance must be responsible for. Thank you.
Yeah, so you've mentioned the payment of taxes right now, and I quite agree with you. But then, because we know it's not just Binance alone that is the only cryptocurrency platform we have in Nigeria. So now, how much impact do you think this action by the federal government will have on the cryptocurrency industry? That's, I mean, the cryptocurrency industry generally in Nigeria. How much impact do you think this action of the federal government will have on the cryptocurrency industry in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's a very beautiful question. If we look at it very well, many exchanges now, they are not sitting right. They are not saying it that, okay, in Africa, Nigeria government is standing up. It's not only that they're standing up for Nigeria, they're standing up for Africa. So all exchanges now need to take us serious. You know, the most annoying part in some areas is that you see a lot of seminars, programs going on in UAE, America, but it will be very, very difficult for you then to put a Nigerian or to put an African or to put a black man on it, right? But their market is Nigeria. So these exchanges need to understand that a structure is coming in the country for exchanges. So they need to be prepared because they need to be licensed. They need to have their operational office in Nigeria. Nigeria is not only a marketplace, it should also be a place where you can also operate from. We can't be using an exchange and your office, your operational office, it's very far away from Nigeria. It's not really encouraging. Right now, for an instance, I know so many exchanges in Dubai, but guess what? The high volume, what they are pushing is the volume they are pushing is not from Dubai, from Nigeria, America. America is not even included, China and India. So you guys need to make sure that what is coming now is that they need to be on ground, work with the government in one or two ways, and make sure that their customers are more secured. So I think that is just what I have to say for now.
Okay, so from your response, it seems like these practices are common among cryptocurrency exchanges in Nigeria. So now what measures, apart from trying to protect the interest of their customers, like you mentioned earlier, what other measures do you think regulators can take to mitigate these practices? All right.
When it comes to regulations, Nigerian government needs to take this very, very serious, and they need to be very, very flexible because this is their area, and this is the area they need to come in. Now, yes, the economy is not stable at the moment, and we saw the president, instead of celebrating his birthday, he didn't celebrate it because of the current economy, which kudos to that. But if we want to really look into what is really happening now when it comes to regulation, so they really need to give a structure where all exchanges, blockchains, will see that, there's a structure on ground, and they want to settle on it. So now, in the United States, the regulation body is the SEC. They also have the Financial Authority and many types like that. In UAE, Dubai, they have VERA. So in Nigeria, we don't have any for now. So we need to have a good structure. We need to have a structure. We need to be very, very flexible. For an example, if Lagos is a big market, and Lagos should also try and have their own regulation system, because Lagos is the market that many exchanges are really aiming to dominate. Because if they can achieve 0.5% of Lagos population in their exchange, that means they have achieved a lot. So Lagos is they can have state regulations, and they can also have federal regulations. But however, the regulation structure should be properly done, and it must not be done in a way that, because the country is facing so many things, so they want to do it anyhow. No, they need to bring in experts. They need to look at it from different angles and see how to make the regulation perfect. Not all coin, like in Dubai, there's what we call ICO regulation. There's what we call token regulation. So all these things need to be in place. So I remember, I think, was it not 3 years ago, many coins token were just bringing into the country. People were just using their hard-earned money to buy it, to purchase. By the end of it, they lost all their investments. So these regulations, we need it in Nigeria, so that it will not only protect the government, it will also protect the citizens. Because without the regulation, people will be lost. Without a structure, people will be lost. People want to go into cryptocurrency, but they don't know how. They are not saying security. But what the government is doing now, yes, some people might not like it, but either or two ways, we should just look at it as an act of security. So that's what I have to say for now.
Okay, so you've mentioned regulations, which I quite agree with you on. But now from an investor's perspective, because in as much as regulations are quite important, it's also important that investors are aware of what they are getting into. So now I would like to know, Michael, from an investor's perspective, what factors do you think other investors should consider when assessing the risk associated with using cryptocurrency exchanges and platforms like Binance, especially in light of the regulatory actions and legal challenges in the country now?
Okay, the first thing that an investor wants to look into is called security. So if an exchange, if you're putting your money in an exchange, the first thing you want to be sure of is how secured your money or your asset is. So a regulation is not something to scare you off. So if a regulation system is coming to the country, it's not like they are trying to scare you away from the business or scare you away from the market. No, it's a security. So the first thing an investment needs to look at is that the government is creating a security. Now, the government needs to create a security that is not going to be too harsh, very flexible, so that an investor will feel more secured. Only someone that is doing an illegal stuff online will be scared of regulation. So an investor, first of all, needs to look at his security and also look around how the regulation system is going. Is it going to favor the investor or is it not going to favor an investor? And there's no how the regulation system will not favor an investor, because the most important thing is that there's security. Once you have the security, then investors, they should not worry about their funds in any exchange.
Okay, so you've mentioned, you've laid emphasis on regulatory trends and how regulation is really important. So now, what regulatory trends do you anticipate when it comes to the cryptocurrency industry, particularly regarding tax compliance, because that's one of the major issues the federal government has with Binance, and anti-money laundering efforts? What particular regulatory trends do you anticipate as an investor?
Okay, like I said earlier, if we look at what UAE, Dubai, they're doing, they have this Vera, in an state they have the SEC. So it's a body that protects investors. So everything is being licensed, so there's a rule. So if in a country where there is no rule, there's no sin. So the regulation now is an act of protecting an investor. So now, an anti-laundering, now if we look at it very well, in the crypto industry, it's easy to do money laundering in a country that is not having regulation system, because there's no, how am I going to say, there's nobody that is watching, there's no law, there's no protection that is guiding the financial sector in the crypto industry. So now, in an exchange, they need to understand that the license or the regulation is standing to stop money laundering activities. We're talking about insecurities. Where are the money passing through? Many people don't know. So these are the things. So people are complaining, oh, there's no security in Nigeria, this, that. But it's not only physical security. We are even talking about online security. So we need the government to structure this path. And like I said earlier, they need to be very, very flexible. And also, in addition, the government needs to channel their strength into blockchain cryptocurrency education, which I've been doing for over 3 to 4 years. I founded a community called Africom, and we've been doing this, educating people without collecting a dime, so that they won't go and enter into the dens of lions. So the government needs to also channel into crypto and blockchain education, so that people will know what it is what it is to have a standard regulation system.
Okay, so you mentioned that the government needs to be flexible. So do you think the federal government of Nigeria was not flexible with the suit filed against Binance?
Okay, if we look at the flexibility towards them with Binance, I can't really say much to that, because I believe they've had several meetings. They've tried to solve so many things. Maybe I believe Binance too is also trying to play smart, not to be a victim. But in the case of Binance so far, from what I've seen so far, the only part I just think that the flexibility is not really that much. It is really a little bit much is the charges for the fine, which I think $10 billion is much to me. But if we want to do the mathematics truly, they've been in Nigeria for over 6 years. So they've made over $10 billion in Nigeria. Let us be sincere to ourselves. So finding them is not the problem. But I just think they need to sit down and negotiate. So that there's a negotiation part as well. I want the government to be flexible with them. And apart from that, my part of the flexibility is where getting licensed in Nigeria when they are not charging them huge amount of money for them to be licensed in Nigeria. That is my main part of flexibility. What I mean that they should be flexible is, like, for an example, let's assume they are paying $24,000 for getting licensed in UAE. So I think Nigeria should be charging around $15,000 or $16,000. So this will attract new exchanges. It will attract investors planning to come to Nigeria to settle down and turn into their home.
Okay, so you said Nigeria should charge lesser. So do you think, is it because we do not have enough cryptocurrency exchange platforms in Nigeria, or you just think it's best that way to attract more investors into the country?
Oh, if we look at what, UAE is a very big example. UAE made a lot of money from blockchain, cryptocurrency, because they're extremely flexible. They have a very beautiful system that everything is being linked to the government and linked to their bank accounts. So there's a way the tax is being running. Now, I've lived in the UAE before. So the way their tax system is being run, you won't even know you're paying tax. Just here in Nigeria too. So the flexibility part is, UAE now is a place where people want to really go and register their exchange, get the license there. But the market is not there. The market is here. Now we have the market. So we need to be flexible. So we don't need to chase them away. So instead of chasing them away, can't we just give them a flexible rate? Give them the standard, okay, this is our rule, no money laundering, any exchange, any license, things like that we're giving out. There should be a proper rule to guide them. And truly, the money laundering needs to be treated properly when it comes to exchanges, because a lot of scams are going on online. So now the flexibility is charging them low. This will attract lots of investors. Let me tell you something is, many of these people really want to come to Nigeria. Let me tell you something. I was talking to an exchange last year. I don't want to mention their name. They want to have an operational office in Nigeria. So I told them this is the cost to have it for a year. And they did the math, and they realized that what they're paying in UAE monthly is almost what we are going to pay for 6 months here in Nigeria.
Financial market analyst Michael Damilare Bello, thank you for lending your thoughts on the program. Well, that's it on this episode of the program. Many thanks for watching. I'm Okpeyemi Owoshini. See you next time.